everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Show Us Your Insides. I'm Joel.
I'm Josh.
And we're going to be talking to Kelsey Fawcett today, but we're also being shared on the local radio station. Josh, you want to?
Yeah. Hopefully you're checking us out on CHSR 97.9 FM in Fredericton. That's your, I say campus radio station. Let's call it community radio station because that's really what it is. Hope you listen to us there. Check us out on YouTube.
We're and just too.
Check CHSR out anytime if you get a chance, whether we're not on it or not, because they're a big proponent of local up-and-comers.
We love CHSR.
Yeah.
Trash Oyster's been on there quite a bit
Awesome.
lately. Yeah.
Well, let's get right into it, Kelsey. So let's find out. I mean, you brought up Trash Oyster, and we want to talk about that, your band that you're in, and you do solo stuff as well, and you're within the kind of drag community as well, like some of your art and creative forms. But why don't you give us a bit of a history of, where did your love for music come from, and where did it start, and where is it going?
Oh, gosh. Okay.
No pressure.
Quick and dirty.
Yeah.
I guess I grew up in rural New Brunswick, as most of us do, I guess. Technically Hawkins Corner, but if you don't know where that is, probably Millville or Nackwick might be your closer markers.
Gotcha. The typical small town
country
where you
vibes.
Attach onto the bigger small town.
Oh,
so
yeah.
people know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. And like a kid in the country, I'm not a country fan at all.
Isn't that funny?
But well, I mean, if you grow up with it, that's kind of it's you got to rebel against it, and we'll talk about that
and now
later.
I'm coming back to it, but yes.
We'll come back to that for sure. But yeah, I guess I grew up in the country, and I grew up in the church, and that's where I started singing. So I'm no longer a church member, but that's choirs. And when I was a kid, I'd sing along to anything, and that's kind of like how I got into it. And I learned how to sight read and how to do harmonies by ear and whatnot too. So
nice.
I want to do more harmony work, I think. But that's how I learned how to sing, basically, is singing in church. And
right on.
And then it moved into, I worked at King's Landing for
very cool.
6 or 7 years in the theater troupe, and I performed there on guitar, and I learned a lot of songs from the 1800s because
cool.
my dad and
so
my
cool.
aunt and my grandfather all worked at King's Landing, so that also entrenched a deep love of theater and music in me when I was younger, and then that's kind of where I started playing as me. And then at that time, and then when I went to university, I started doing solo performances at coffee houses, and I went to open mic at the Cap with Rich Glode. Oh man,
Rich,
and
yeah.
That was such a
he
good...
was one of the biggest musical influences for me, Rich Glode.
Does he still?
100%.
Is he hosting anything like that? I remember for years he was doing that.
Not that I know of at the time, but he was a huge influence for me as a musician, because I was like doe-eyed. I'm like, I don't know how to, I don't know where to play. I don't know what to do. I just want to start getting into music because I love performing. And
shout out to him.
Big shout out to Rich.
Yeah.
I love him.
And the Cap.
Great guy, yeah.
And so after I got in with Rich and the Cap, I guess, I played more solo shows at York County Cider, and I played a monthly gig at the Affirmation Lounge. Played there once a month for a bit when that was open, and I think from there I started hosting karaoke at Boom, which is now Monarch nightclub. So I hosted karaoke at Boom for 2 or 3 years, and then Mama, when she opened up Monarch nightclub, it's a great LGBT space in the community, and she asked me to host karaoke again for her, and I've been doing that for 2.5, 3 years at Monarch now. So I've been hosting karaoke for about 8 to 9 years.
Wow.
In Fredericton, and singing, that's what got me into singing. And then more of my solo music scene is kind of just I've been building my voice up through singing with that. And then on the side, I do some songwriting. I'm not great at it. My solo songwriting is
Blasphemy.
Oh gosh, no.
Blasphemy.
I mean, I feel like I'm so much more at home writing with the band, honestly.
Interesting. Okay.
In terms of writing music, it's a lot more of a collaborative process, and so it's a lot easier for me to get in the headspace that I need to be in and to work off of the other guys in the band, and it's so much easier than writing solo.
Well, so that's
songs,
interesting. For me, it was always the opposite. I don't know about you, Joel, but I always writing songs for me was an intimate, personal thing that I was reluctant to share with other people. So it's interesting to hear that you feel more at home collaborating to write songs. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Very grungy, I would say, as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's very
just
grungy.
a bunch of people in a room wanting to get a song together, right? That's the way it should be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, grunge music is all about, kind of rebellion, and a big time, like, so in the 90s, like when grunge came out, it was kind of a rebellion against the 80s overindulgence in fashion and in just like the scene in general, politically as well. And back in the 90s, like grunge was that reaction to being like, you know what, we don't need all this corporate greed. We don't need all this stuff. I'm not going to swear. I'm good.
That was a good withholding of swearing.
But it's like, like, let's go back to our, we don't have to, we can thrift. We can rebel through our music and through our words. And grunge is a form of just, fighting against the norm and being yourself and expressing your emotions. And I find a big release in grunge music because you can just say whatever you want. You can yell it. You can scream it from the rooftops, and it's like, and people resonate with it because they want to do that too. Because like we're in an age where there's a lot going on currently, and so we can see that grunge is coming back because people are just angry.
It's true, yeah.
People are upset.
It's like maybe a pattern is coming back around where, consumerism and phoniness are kind of at the forefront, and there's a lot of people that want to break through that BS.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to do it. So definitely appreciate that.
It seems to go in cycles, doesn't it?
It's
like,
cyclical,
it
isn't
comes
it?
up and then it comes down. But so you talked a little bit about your history. So maybe and your background in karaoke and getting into singing and doing open mics, which is all awesome stuff. How did talk to us about Trash Oyster specifically? Like, how did that come about? You can bring up there's a person in the band that you're very close to, so maybe was that part of it? Just like how did that happen? Because obviously that is right now a great kind of avenue for you to express yourself, and
big time,
and kind of you connect so much to that grunge movement and everything. So let's talk about that a little bit.
I guess so. Getting into how Trash Oyster was formed, a good pal of mine, Eddie Young, he does a great. Oh my gosh, he does so much for the local music community.
Shout out to Eddie.
Shout out to Eddie Young. We love you.
He comes up every episode.
Yeah, because he's just such a huge supporter.
Well, he was a huge part of like me getting involved in the scene, and he was just like, I'm not strong in writing original music. I find all my songs solo are kind of corny. I'm getting there. I'm actually rewriting a few old ones now, and I'm going to be redoing them, maybe recording someday.
Hopefully.
If I get the guts for it.
You're probably being a little harsh on yourself. I'm sure they're not as corny as you're letting out.
As a fellow corny songwriter, sometimes you just have to embrace it.
This is true.
Just let it be your voice.
Oh gosh, there's another caveat I can go on, but I'll do that later because I don't want to take too much time. But anyways, so I started, I guess he was just like, hey, Kelsey, you got a great voice. I want to do a grunge tribute. You're a powerhouse rock singer. You want to put together a band? And I'm like, oh yeah, man, of course. And so luckily enough, I'm dating an amazing guitar player named Glenn. And he's out of this world amazing at guitar, and
so talented.
He's very like hard on himself, and he doesn't think he's good. I'm like, Glenn, stop it.
He seems like a very humble guy.
Oh,
Glenn's a rock
he's so
star.
fun.
Which is always the best combo, right?
True.
Yeah, I mean, and starting I was attracted to him big time because he was a huge, amazingly talented guitar player, and he's a powerhouse on stage, just a wild card. He'll run around everywhere and headbang, and I'm like,
he's so fun to watch on stage.
His energy is so infectious, and I think that's really, really attracted to me and meeting him in the first place. And he and I started dating. It'll be 2.5 years soon. We just had our 2-year anniversary, and
Congrats.
thank you. So we, anyways, we start. So I was just like, well, obviously I'm going to ask Glenn, and then his buddy Colin was in the Delirious Monks with him, which is his offshoot band. They're no longer a band right now, unfortunately. RIP Delirious Monks.
Rest in peace. They were great.
They were so good. But Colin Matheson is super talented bass player.
He is.
And so versatile, and we couldn't think of anybody else to ask. We immediately were just like, yeah, let's go.
And a chill dude. Shout out to Colin. He's very close to my family.
He's wonderful. And so we asked Colin, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do about a drummer, because drummers, like the one thing is getting a drummer. And I was just like, I think we had a big, like, I guess a thread on a page or something. And I was just like, Eddie, I don't know about a drummer. Like, I don't know. He's like, Kelly Baker. And I'm like, I know Kelly. So Kelly's a photographer, and she and I used to copy edit for an arts and culture magazine called The East. It's based out of St. John.
Yeah.
And I used to copy edit for them and occasionally write, because I love grammar. Clearly not. I'm not good at grammar, but I'm good at writing. So we'll take that. And so Kelly, I knew through that, and I was just like, yeah, Kelly. So we reconnected, and she played in the Women in the 90s tribute in the previous year, which is why Eddie recommended her. And like immediately we all were just like, oh no, this is our fam. Like we get along so well. Like there's never any fighting, never any drama. It's always good times and fun and grunge music and rock. And it's just, the best family ever. And
if you're mad, you're just, by the end of the jam, you're happy because you got it all out. Right?
I mean,
so,
honestly though,
right?
no, it's great. So Kelly hopped in the band, and we started practicing with her, and we were practicing, I guess, kind of weekly. And then we played this grunge tribute for Eddie, and we'd put together 6 songs, one of them that we're never playing again because we effed it up really bad.
Okay.
Been there.
That's a rite of passage.
Been there.
You gotta do that.
We fracked it up.
Yeah, good use of fracked.
Yes.
That's what we should start. Yeah. I like that. Another reference to a sci-fi show, maybe?
Yeah, big time.
I thought it was in reference to the fracking scandal.
I mean, maybe that too.
Clearly, yeah.
Clearly. The
whole
world was so
entendre.
political.
That was current news at one point.
Yeah. It'll cycle back again.
Yes.
If you're listening to this on CHSR in like 10 years, you'll be like, it's still a problem.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So anyways, we came together for the grunge tribute, and we played on the stage, and after we played our set, like it was like 300 people there.
Yeah,
it was in Grimross. It was packed, and I just remember like I was trying to play guitar and sing, and I was just like, and there were 300 people in front of me and the lights, and I was just like,
That's a huge crowd to kind of. Was that your first?
That was our first show as a band.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a big kind of undertaking.
Because we were just a tribute band.
Yeah.
Like we were like, yeah, let's put something together for fun kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then after that, like Eddie comes on the stage. I love Eddie so much. He comes on the stage and he's just like, so Trash Oyster's now going to be a grunge band, right? And the whole crowd's like actually like cheering
Behind it, for sure, yeah.
Trash Oyster and chanting, and I'm like, okay, guess we have. I look around and they're all like, yeah, okay.
That's fun.
We're like,
I love
yeah,
that.
all right.
That's
so
a great origin story.
we're just like, okay, so we
Say the
just
same thing.
and the name Trash Oyster, which I probably should talk about because
Yeah, that's what I was
everybody
gonna-
wants
It's the best
to know.
name. It's the best. One of my favorite band names. I think you and Kitten Spit.
Oh yeah,
Both couple of punk bands. Yeah, Miss Envy, Amelia, if you know her.
Love-
Kitten-
yeah.
So Trash Oyster, Kitten Spit. I mean, I'd get those names
are some good
tattooed
ones.
right now. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next episode, we're bringing in a tattoo artist.
I mean, I gotta.
should
Okay,
actually, yeah.
well, I've got.
You
room.
don't have any room left, Kelsey.
I do. I have lots of room.
you got a couple
What are you
forearms.
talking
Yeah.
about? We'll get there. So Trash Oyster, we were trying to come up with like a band name, and I'm like, okay, I'm creative. We can do this. We got this. And then I tried to think of like the bands that we cover. We do a lot of Nirvana. We do some Pearl Jam, and we were learning a Garbage song for that show. We never ever performed that song again because it was garbage. But we base it off of Garbage and Pearl Jam, Trash
Okay.
Oyster.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Pearl Jam and
Yeah, it makes sense. And even as you were saying that, when I was thinking about the name earlier, I also connected to the fact that oysters make pearls, and pearls are like this kind of sought after symbol of kind of beauty, and
Yeah.
trash is like
trashy beauty. I love it.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful contrast,
Yeah,
isn't
the
it? Yeah.
contrast is kind of like, that's what hit me. I was like, I wonder if that had anything to do with it, like just the combo, because you'd almost want to be like like Stinky Diamonds, or
Yeah.
like
It's like
Yeah.
it's like the
terrible.
diamond in the rough. I feel like
Yeah.
maybe you're picking through trash and you find
An oyster-
a pearl.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's like you guys. You're a little rough on the outside, but inside you get like this beautiful depth or brilliance. Let's put
There you
that.
go. That was
guys.
a good,
How good was that? How was that good BS?
That was
in
really
there?
good, Josh.
You're making my life hard now. Oh, we're not blushing. It's fine. Okay. But
We'll cut to Josh during.
I'll be blushing because I'm always blushing. I'm just hot.
It is hot in
Me
here.
too, and I sweat so like when I'm
too.
singing because I'm belting all the time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I like drip, and like people who come in the. I have a few friends who just go in the front row because they're just like shake like a dog.
It's just raining sweat on people.
Honestly,
Give me your
like,
essence.
ever since I was like a teenager and listening to like grunge music and rock music, and because we had to hide that we were listening to rock music when we were kids because we grew up in the church
grew
and
up similar, yeah.
very religious
Same.
family.
I was not super religious, but I did grow up singing in the
we
church.
couldn't
and
watch
stuff,
The Simpsons. Like,
Okay,
Same.
Wrestling
Yeah.
Simpsons, not allowed.
like now I'm kind of living my teenage years as a 33-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like now I can actually be myself. And
Enjoy
it's
it.
like
Totally.
ever since I was a kid and like being able to listen to like I was like, pretending to listen to like like I got to listen to like Nirvana and like Pearl Jam when I was growing up and Soundgarden and then like now that I'm an adult I can fully listen to them
Yeah.
and we incorporate so much. So we originally started just doing a bunch of covers because we were a tribute band, and we have about 3 hours worth of grunge covers now.
Wow.
And then at that point we were like, hey, we should write some original music.
Yeah.
Because now we've kind of got a good understanding of the genre.
Yeah.
And then it's at that point we decided to write some originals and writing. So how our writing kind of came together, because I'm good at circling back to stuff like that.
Great.
So how
I
we
love
started
it.
writing.
Great, because I'm not. Thank you, Kelsey, for running the show.
Look, I got it. Give me like a little list and I can get us there. So
Amazing.
in terms of writing, so our writing is very collaborative. So what we did was we're like, all right, we kind of talked about it in like our group chat for band, and we're like, all right, Glenn or Colin, one of you guys come up with a riff and send it to the chat. And like we'll listen to it and kind of get an idea, and then we'll come to band practice and we'll hash her out. So the first song we wrote, I think, was "I'm Done," I think, and
Which is the last one on
which is the last one on our EP because we wanted to put it there because I'm done. It's great.
fair
It's
enough.
great.
Totally,
It's great.
Totally, yeah.
So Glenn brought the riff to band practice, and then we basically just kind of jammed it out. Like, so the guys, Kelly's in the corner coming up with the drum riffs, and then we've got Colin on the bass is like coming up with a bass line, and while Glenn's like jamming on, I'm like, okay, play your verse. And so he started like playing the riff for the verse, and I'm like, I'm in the corner, and I'm like, okay. And I start writing in a notebook in the corner, and that's how I do it. And like once I have a verse ready, I'm like, all right, I've got a verse ready. It's based off of like the energy in the room, based off of like how the song is sounding and the vibe we want to put out. And I'm also like trying to like, as I'm writing, I'm thinking of like the grunge elements that should be in there, but also thinking about like what I want to say in the song about the state of where we are or what we're feeling from it, our emotions in the room kind of thing. And so like I'm sitting in the corner like trying to write lyrics, and I'm like, all right, I've got enough for a verse. Think about your chorus riff. So they started writing a chorus riff, and it's just right in the moment. I'm like, all right, write the chorus. And then so Glenn's like got a chorus riff going. They all hop on and they're jamming on it for a bit until I can get a chorus written.
Beautiful.
And that's basically how we do it. Is I'm like, all right. So now I'm like, do a verse again. They go back to the verse and like jamming out some more, and then I'm writing in a new lyrics for the verse. I'm just like scribbling madly on a chair. And Kelly's puppy Huey, his name is Huey Lewis and the News,
amazing.
and he is the cutest thing on the entire planet. And like so he's like sitting in my arms, and I'm writing lyrics in the corner, and he's like licking my face. I'm like, Huey, like he's like, it's the best thing ever.
It's amazing.
And like so yeah, we just like write it all in the room when it's happening. And then I'm like, all right, I think we got a song. And I'm like, come up with your cool solo, come up with a bridge. And like, we just take it piece at a time, and like, until they have the riff together. And then once I'm like hearing it, I'm like, okay, I can write down, like, cause you have to write down your lyrics, but also match it to the melodies. And there's a lot to think about when you're writing. And I'm like, I find it was so much easier because I didn't have to come up with the melody.
Yeah.
It was so much easier for me to just be like, this is what I'm feeling from the music that we are creating.
Yeah.
And it's truly collaborative. Like some of like Kelly's little drum riffs, like are like, I like that little tinge. I'm like, that's going to inspire me to write like the bridge. And like, and that's kind of how our process is. It's just like we collaboratively write. The only song that was pre-written was Trash Hole, which we don't play on the radio because it swears a lot. So you're not going to hear it.
No, it'll
but
just be all bleeped.
But you can find it on Bandcamp or on SoundCloud or Spotify or iTunes or whatever, but it has like
CHSR
little.
will play it after 8 p.m. I think, or 9 p.m. The later hours you're allowed to.
Yeah.
They're allowed to play you.
Well,
you
grunge is about
hooligans.
expression, and I'm like that's a very angry song, and like that was about a particular individual, and I was just like, you know what, let's go. Like,
You don't want to have to hold back
No.
when you're writing, of
Yeah.
course. Like,
it's like, and writing rock too. It's like you're very much going into your intrinsic emotions, and you're trying to express like how you're feeling, and it's
You don't want to
it's so
restrain
raw.
too much. You don't want it to be filtered because it's not going to be as authentic, right?
grunge is raw and unfiltered. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
So like you can't like cut out
No.
your emotions and what you're thinking. You have to just be like raw on the table. And like a lot of these songs like are angry, yes, because a lot of us are angry. A lot of us
good.
are angry inside, and like a lot of us don't get to express our anger
Yeah.
in healthy ways. And this is a great way. Like music is the best way to express your feelings, I find, at least for me. Like I'm lucky that I'm musically inclined, and like I've been singing and practicing my entire life, but like for me it's a huge outlet because it's how you can connect to other people without just
Without doing, I agree.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying, and it's
Inhibitions.
You had so many good points there. Like it's a lot of people don't want to be perceived as angry anymore these days.
Yeah.
It's very much like there's not a lot of not a lot of forgiveness these days. Not a lot of like room for retribution or righting your own wrongs. People want you to be perfect right from the get-go.
Yeah.
If you're an angry person, I don't want to be around you because you haven't done the self-work. You know what I mean? Like that's
And, like-
like a vibe these days, right? Well, you know what the hell with that? Like, pardon my language, but screaming it out in a song is like,
Yeah.
and me and Joel always talk about authenticity and like vulnerability
Yeah.
in songwriting. That was like one of the big themes like we connected over. And I like the vulnerability of just not filtering what you want to say and just letting it all out into a song, which I think is awesome.
And I think for me too, like a lot of it's like working in the service industry, like whether you work like as karaoke host or working serving the public in like coffee shops or like bars or whatever, like that's just part of it is, you have this, you always have to be happy and smiling, and you always have to be on. And it's like, there are some days I'm coming to work and I'm dealing with like, like my mom had cancer for a while, and there was a whole year where I was like driving her to surgery, and I couldn't talk about that at work or show that I was like dealing with super heavy stuff. She's in remission, by the
And
way.
sorry
and
you had
that's
to deal with
amazing.
it, and that's awesome.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good news. That's good news. Yeah,
But, like,
that
we-
would have been really hard.
And like I did like that's the last year, and like no one, I only
People
talked
don't see that.
talked to a handful of people about it because I'm like, I don't want to talk about. I mean, I'm probably writing some songs about it for my solo stuff, but like that's like, and it's tough because you have to basically hide your entire, because like when you're working in public, like I'm like, I can't be like, they're like, how you doing? I'm having a really hard day actually, and I'm like, you're serving coffee or you're bartending or whatnot.
Right.
Like you
Yeah.
gotta leave that at home.
They're like, I didn't mean it. I just want my coffee.
I just want my coffee. And it's like, and there's also like this detachment. So like there's a lot of built up like emotion and anger that people don't talk about in their everyday lives because, we're working individuals, and like you might see a friend like once in a while, you're not going to unload your whole life on them.
Right.
Every time you see them, like passing in the street. So like you got to find a way to outlet your emotions. And like a lot of people do journaling, and I do journaling, but I also like I started writing songs as like my outlet. And so like with a grunge band, it's just like, cool, all right, let's get all the angry music out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, that sounds like the perfect genre in some ways to be able to express and to get stuff out. I mean, that's, as you mentioned, why the genre kind of happened in the first place. It was a necessity in the 90s, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. People were reacting to, overindulgence and capitalism. And like they're like, we're angry because we shouldn't have to deal with all this economy BS and whatnot. So
And just to circle back quickly, like I really loved when you talked about how you guys write music.
Oh yeah.
I just thought, isn't that the perfect kind of format for grunge? Because for you to be able to sit back in the room and feel the energy of when they create the riff, the whatever, like, and that was something I noted when I was listening to your EP. Like, there's some really awesome riffs, bass and guitar, and drum rhythms that, like, you could tell that. I guess I could tell listening to it that everyone in the band seems to. I feel like you guys have freedom to really express yourselves in whatever your instrument is: guitar, bass, vocals, drums. But for that genre, it's such a cool kind of incubative
Yeah,
incubation
yeah.
environment to kind of create that you sitting back, and all of a sudden if you see, like, I could imagine you might, like, especially Glenn being Glenn, like, you know, really getting into it, and maybe all of a sudden you feel that aggression, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Start to feel the tone of the song. Oh, this song's about this, or this song, you know.
Yeah.
So I just think that's a very cool writing style.
Yeah, me too. It's very different from what I've always done, and
Yeah.
I think it gives a more like in the moment product too. You know, like a real snapshot of,
That's what-
of everything.
yeah.
Because I find like and I only talk about myself to connect, right? So just to relate, but like we recorded a lot of pieces. I might write a song and then bring it over and be like, we'll add to it and layer it, which is really cool. It can take a long time.
Yeah.
There's something a lot different about just getting in a room and be like, bam, there's our
Yeah.
song.
Well, yeah, at the end of practice, there was one practice we did 2 songs, and like we're just
Nice.
like, all right, cool, we got 2 songs now, like, and like I mean, so for the maze, so yeah, I think the same week we wrote, was it Games or I'm Done? Colin brought a riff in, and it was very chill vibes,
Yeah.
and like kind of mysterious to me, and that was what the maze came out of, which is another one of my favorites. I mean, honestly, I love them all, but because, you know, he came up with this like mysterious, like very chill vibe, and I'm like, okay, well, like, how are we, like, and that was kind of what I was feeling, was just this whole idea of like how you don't know what's coming ahead of you or behind you. And I thought about how, like, you know, life's like a maze, and then my lyrics kind of came off of that vibe.
Yeah, that's very
and I was
cool.
very much like when I was first kind of like sitting in the corner trying to come up with like lyrics, I'm like, okay, Colin, and I kind of came over to him and like kind of like chatted in his ear. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm thinking, and he's like, no, that's right on. All right, keep going with it. So I just went back to the
I
corner,
love that.
wrote more lyrics, and then we had it ready, and I started doing like the verse and the chorus, and they're like, yep, nope, this is good. And that's kind of
That's
like,
very cool.
because I'm like, I respect the person who's writing the riff,
Yeah.
because
yeah,
I want
like
to
what
be
their
like,
vibe
is this what you're thinking when you
Yeah.
were like writing this like little riff up? And he's like, yeah, no, that sounds great. And I'm like, cool, all right. So I go back to the corner and write lyrics. Like,
I feel like even for bands that don't write that way, it would be a great thing to circle into your writing process to try this once in a while. Because I think what's cool about that is you learn each band member's perspective on what they write and why they write it. And often I think in bands and the way that the things come together, there's still collaboration, but to different degrees. You know, it's so important. Like, tone is something that I think gets missed sometimes, is like, and it sounds like that's kind of like you got a bit of a mysterious tone, like, what is this? And then you kind of explored that, and then approaching Colin being like, you know, is it this? And he's like, yeah, like, that's perfect. And sometimes you might even bring something to, let's say, Colin that maybe he hadn't thought of.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, heck yeah, that is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes as a creative person, you don't know what's stewing in your soul. And you start putting something out, like on canvas, let's say, as a painter, and all of a sudden someone comes up and starts identifying it for you. That's a cool, like, you're truly collaborating.
we are really, it's really, and like Kelly's like in the corner with like little like the little tings, and I'm just like, I'm sitting
Mystery
there,
tings.
and I look up, and I'm like, yes, and I look back down, I'm still writing, and it's just like, this is like, you can really tell that we feel it. And then Glenn starts with his little like sorry, I'm music brain and I get distracted, but like,
no, it's like the song already exists and you guys are finding it all together.
that's I love that.
I feel like a riff too. I love riffs. Like riff rock is like my favorite.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's almost like the genetic code for a song sometimes.
Yeah.
You got everything you need in that riff, and you can expand on it, even like the structure of the whole song almost from a riff sometimes.
You just flesh it out.
And
the riff is,
and they have great riffs in your EP, by the way. Like the starting Games is like and Maze, like those are just some very interesting riffs that you don't hear as much these days. You know what I mean? There's something kind of like unpredictable about them, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Fun story about Games, very quickly. So Games, afterwards, we kind of realized it after, because we played Breed by Nirvana.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and like I was trying to listen, because I make playlists with our, like, now that we have our music on Spotify and whatnot, like I make playlists, I'm like, oh my God. Like if we put Games right after Breed, like the vibes are very similar. They're both super fast. They're both just like, let's go. And I'm like, oh, okay. So like now that I'm thinking about it, but like it's not like a play on it at all, but like you can tell that we're honing in on those grunge vibes too. Yeah. So it's like an extra thing. Sorry, I interrupted you. What were you gonna say?
Please.
How dare you? This is all about you. Don't worry.
I'm sure, like when it comes to genres, like every genre is kind of its little, umbrella that underneath of it maintains certain things but genres can go all over the place too. They can experiment with other genres. They can kind of melt together and all that stuff. But like, if you have a similar vibe, it could be inspiration. It could be because you listen to a lot of it, or it could be because you're tapping into a similar kind of need to express something that, you know, another band like Nirvana was tapping into.
100%.
So, you know, like, sometimes if people are like drawing similarities almost in a shameful manner, it's like, no, I mean, I'm sure there are times where it's like a blatant ripoff of something.
Yeah,
but
no.
in this case, and in most cases, I think it's more of just a sharing in a need to express a certain feeling through the music. And it feels similar, and that's a huge compliment. Like, that's like, oh man, we're feeling something that they were feeling.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure like recorded music is the last, like, you know, 200 years or whatever, maybe a little more with the gramophones and all that stuff. But like, it'll be cool to see in like 800 years. Like, you're a sci-fi fan. I always think of this stuff.
Big time.
You know, people will listen to Trash Oyster and they'll be like, you know, oh, that music, that's the same vibe that we had with the generation 100 years ago and 100 years before that. And, you know, those things will cycle. It's human. It's a human experience. So it's just it's such a cool.
We evolved, but we still really have running off the same basic feelings.
Right? Like,
and you can hear
we're
that
more similar than we are dissimilar, I think.
I agree.
And that's a cool proof of that.
And like, speaking of you mentioned recording earlier, and talking about recording, like, what was kind of unique about how we recorded our EP. So we played like a lot of like local shows and whatnot, and then we started to play some of our original music. And our buddy James Morrison, he's awesome. He's in like a zillion bands in Fredericton.
Shout out James. James is a great guy.
Shout out to James. He's awesome. And he was just like, you know, you guys, like, I'm like, because he's really good at doing our sound, because he knows exactly, because he loves grunge music too, so he knows the sound we want when we're playing, and like, he's just so intuitive about it. And he was just like, guys, like, do you want to do like a crappy live recorded album in my basement? And we're like,
sounds like grunge to me.
Yeah, let's go. So we did a full, like, so our album, like, we went to his basement, and it was awesome. Like it was like a little moldy. I have allergies, so it gave me like this little
rasp.
But you can hear like in the recording like the little rasp in my voice, and like I was guzzling water bottle after water bottle because I'm like, and taking allergy pills, like, and my puffer, and it was just
man.
But you could hear the tinge in my voice, and it sounded so good. So like we just did it like a full live. Like, he's just like, all right, play the first song on the album, and like we all just started like just playing it like regular practice or whatever, just playing the songs. And then we finished that, and then he's like, all right, do it again. And we did it again.
Cool. Yeah.
And like the whole thing, and he's like, there's some things like, I mean, you might want to do this a little bit, you might want to do this a little bit. And then we just played it again, and then we did a third take. So we just did each song 3 times, and that is it. Like, we didn't, I mean, I think it was after we did it, James was just like, I've never heard a vocalist do a song the exact same way 3 times in a row. And I'm like, well, I wrote it. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't, like, for me, it's just like, we also practice a lot. Like, we practice weekly. So like, for up to that point. But yeah, like, so we just did each song 3 times. And then we moved on to the next song, and that was it. I think Glenn went in for like a little bit of overdubbing on guitar parts, and he did like the ooh in Games during the bridge, I think, of Games.
Yeah, because there's some cool stuff happening vocally outside of the lead vocals too, that were like a couple parts that it was interesting, like that as one of them, you know, like background kind of stuff. He
put a lot of like reverb on my voice, I think, and like I think we asked for like more, because so the way he did it was he mixed them up, he sent them over, and Glenn and I listened to them. Like, Glenn's a sound guy, at Broken Record, and like the two of us just like listened to them, and when we listened to them without headphones and with headphones. And I'm like, okay, I feel like, can we like do something to like beef up the vocals somehow? Like, do like, and he like double up on my tracks. And so he doubled up my tracks, and he added some reverb and stuff. We're like, okay, that sounds better. And then like Glenn went back in and added ooze for the bridge. And like the tired of your games, like his little, I love that song so much. It's just
great.
Fun.
It is,
very grungy, but like that's pretty much our recording process. Is we just did it live off the floor in a basement, like in the 90s. Like we were tempted, we were almost tempted to put it in cassette tapes, because like that was what like was the thing. But like we did these little like, so when he sent us the tracks, we're like, we're gonna do like, we burn CDs on our computer, and that's how we did them. Like we like burned them on a computer. We like cut the individual labels for the CDs,
Yes.
and like it's very much like a burnt CD, like we did in like high school, middle school in the 90s.
Yeah,
and
DIY grungy.
Very much, and like that's the vibe.
And you know what? I remember Joel's. They're live off the Floor EP, the first one. I still have my car. It fell down and I can't reach it. It's in like the console.
It'll be there forever now.
But I love
Sad
it.
day.
And they did the same thing. And there's something really cool, I feel like, about the DIY aspect
Oh,
that
yeah.
fits to
It
grunge,
was
because you're
fun,
like, I don't
man.
care about, first of all, about the corporations and all that.
Yeah.
All the big wigs.
Yeah, whatever.
You don't need them to get your music out, right?
No.
We're a rock band. We
Yeah.
can do it ourselves.
Yeah,
And like,
that's right. Yeah.
and like, and James did like the mixing, the master, and he has like a production, like Good Karma Productions is his company. So like he had like the label and stuff. And like, I don't know a lot about the back end of music. I had to do a lot of research about how to copyright things, and that was
It's a lot of work.
that was tough. I did that all by myself because like I'm the person who can figure stuff like that out.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm like, oh god, this is daunting. Like I messaged a few people. I messaged Colin Fowley. It's like, Colin,
Yeah, he's got some good.
please help. And I
Shout out to
messaged
Colin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Colin Fowley. I messaged Eddie, and like Ollie helped a little bit.
Oh yeah, Ollie's great too. Yeah.
From your band.
Yeah. All people that are very just, and we love to shout out these people because
Yeah.
we have a good community. There's a lot of really approachable, nice people that are willing to help out with anything.
I was just like, I
Ollie's
don't know
one
how
of
to
them,
do
and-
this.
Yeah.
So like it's also like this music community in Fredericton, like there's nothing like it. Like we can like I can be like, hey, can you help me on this, or like, hey, do you want to collab on this song, or like you guys, like I sang with Honeygut for a few songs at your last
Yeah,
show.
it was awesome.
And then like Joel Strauss asked me to do some harmonies on his album, and like I love collabing. Like it's so fun, and like especially with like my solo stuff, because I never get to sing harmony, and I like to sing harmony.
Yeah.
And I don't like, it's like something that I grew up doing, but I didn't really get to do it now because I do a lot of lead singing. Like I love rock. Like I feel like honestly I'm living my dream right now as a rock singer. I've always wanted to be a rock singer, and like it's just like there's nothing like being on stage with like a sweaty crowd and like playing with your partner too. Like we
That's
feed
cool.
off each other
That's cool.
so much. The energy is just
Yeah.
like I look at him and I'm like, rah, and
That's
like,
cool,
and, like
yeah.
you can like we both like feel it, and like we're very like move around a lot because like I don't like just looking at people who stand still.
Yeah.
It's not like if you're a rock fan, like you ought to like get into your music. Come
Right,
on, man.
yeah.
Like
if
what
you
are you
let
doing?
loose, and if I'm watching a band and the band is letting loose, it encourages me to let loose.
Oh,
Like I feel
so
more
much
likely
fun.
that I'm gonna be like, yeah, let's do it together.
They're giving
'cause-
you permission almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's great. And you guys' energy is like very great.
Fun quick
Good
story
energy.
that reminded me of the good energy was we did a show at Zeros in February, and we played with Slurvana, which is like a full out Nirvana tribute band.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were playing Hole and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, and it was great. And like there were a bunch of teenagers right in the front row, like 19, 20-year-olds. And I'm like, and this is like another kind of a test, or like it goes hand in hand with like how
Like a
grunge
rite
is
of
coming
passage
back.
or- oh, okay, yeah.
Like how it like kind of proves that it's coming
Yeah.
back, because like these 19, 20-year-olds are like right in the front row and they know every word to every song. And then when we went to Woodstock recently and played with Corey Krause, Corey. Oh, he's a music guy.
Krause, I think you're right.
I think it's Corey Krause.
The Scene.
Yeah, the Scene.
Yeah.
So we did a
Shout
show.
out to Corey. He's awesome.
We did a collab show. Yeah, Corey. With Eddie and Corey and in Woodstock. And like it was an all ages show, and there were high school kids there singing every word to
Yeah,
like Nirvana,
yeah, they
and
get it.
like oh, it was so cool.
It transcends, right? Like that's the thing. Like that vibe, and as you said, it's needed now, and it transcends, and the kids consume it because they're like, oh, this is how we feel too.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Like, yeah.
All right. Yes, I think I don't know what else you. Yeah.
Well, what I was going to do is I think like we talked about recording and the song Games, and I think if we could, we'd love to throw to that and play it.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Is there any video of it that exists, or is it just the audio?
I think there actually is a video. Fun story. At our show in Moncton, Jess E is her Facebook name. She's a good pal of ours. She does like a lot. She
Shout
loves
out to
doing.
Jess.
Yeah.
All these
Shout
people,
out.
you
She's
love
a
it.
great
It's the music
photographer, and
industry,
she
like-
she does it for free. And she'll be, here's some great pics I took of
yeah.
you, which is super appreciative.
And she's like, she's a good pal, and she's a good fan, and she loves grunge.
Yeah.
She's a huge, and like she literally kind of like follows us around, and like
awesome.
just like because she also loves to take pictures of Glenn's hair.
He has
Because
really
when he
lovely,
headbangs, he
amazing
has
hair.
great hair for headbanging.
yeah.
And like she also loves like our chemistry on stage, and she's just like, I want to capture your chemistry because like there's nothing like. So she just likes to hang out, and she carpooled with Glenn and I to our Moncton show, and she took a video of Games, and it's it's on YouTube, and I will have to link it to you.
Send it to me, because what we could do is
I can do that.
We could either play that version when we cut to it,
Yeah.
or we can play the recorded version and show that video. Because I like to, on YouTube at least, with CHSR, if you're listening there,
Yes.
you'll hear just the track audio. But if you're on YouTube, you want to see something while I'm playing it, so it's not just a black screen.
We do have a video.
Yeah, give me something and I'll throw it on there. So that's awesome. So is there anything else you want to do to set up the song?
So games, I guess. Yeah, Glenn wrote the lead riff for that guy, and that guy. I personify songs, all right?
There he is. There he is,
where I'm
games.
at. There he is. And it's about just, let me see. What was that song particularly? Okay, all right. So
I
A lot of getting over
same.
yourself, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was in games, right?
yeah,
I was
it's time to
worried,
get off your high horse and take a ride with me.
Particular person, or is that like a broad?
Yes, but I can't really talk about.
No, that's okay. I wouldn't
But,
want
like,
you to. No,
it's
if you
directed
don't want
to like just people who think that they're better than you intrinsically when you're
Certainly.
walking down the street. And like,
Yeah.
if you work in the service industry, a lot of people look down on you, and I know some of them don't mean to, but it's 100% a thing. And like,
Certainly.
it's 100. Yeah, and you feel it. You're just like, you know what? Like, I'm really tired of your games. I'm like, you and I aren't that different. We're both people. We both have some of the same problems. And just because you might have more money or influence, it doesn't make you better than anyone else.
100%.
And it's like, and that's one of those angry songs that kind of just brings it out. It's just like, you know,
And
like,
enjoy your secret ingredient too.
get
by the
off
way.
your high horse.
Okay, anywhere Josh is serving food, do not eat.
But it's like, you know, get off your high horse. Like,
Yeah.
we're all people.
Yeah.
We're all working together and having fun together. Like, it's about like, let's dance, let's have some fun. Like,
100%.
we're all the same, but we're different, but we're all the same.
Yeah.
Like, we all
Yeah.
have the same feelings.
For sure.
I don't know.
Well, and I'll tell at least nobody, that intrinsic, you talk about kind of the carrying of oneself like they are intrinsically better versus
just
carrying oneself like we
hate
are
it.
all intrinsically the same. We all have the same value. Nobody's value is higher regardless of
No.
social status, monetary status, you know, whatever it is, political
Yeah.
status. None of that changes your intrinsic value, which we all maintain from the day you're born to the day you die. You got that value. It's not going anywhere. But we share it with each other, and it's beautiful. And
Good vibes.
that's good vibes. Well, with that being said, should we throw to games?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Is this on other streaming platforms as well? I know it's on Bandcamp.
It's on Bandcamp, Apple Music, iTunes,
Oh, wicked.
Spotify.
Okay.
So we went through like DistroKid.
Yeah.
It's a
Yes,
distributor, and it
very
just
good, yeah.
puts up music like everywhere.
Yeah, we do the same.
And then I submitted our tracks to Earshot distro for like the CHSRs, and like last week we
you
hit
charted.
like
You charted.
yeah, we hit top. We were
saw
hit
that
top
too.
3 in the St. John charts
that was
last
awesome.
week.
Yeah, we should get an applause there.
And
That's amazing.
this week we're number 16.
Yeah.
Beauty.
We moved down a little bit, but it's probably because they were doing interviews with other bands and stuff, and that's fine.
I mean,
But like, we're still in the
just a
top
start.
30, and I'll take it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, congrats on that.
And we got some
So-
shows coming up, and anyways, yes, listen to games. Let's listen to games. Sorry,
All right,
we get
let's
distracted.
listen to it right now
Yeah.
on Show Us Your Insides Games by Trash Oyster.
Woo.
Gotta do what they say to fit into the crowd. I bite my tongue so much, yeah, I wanna scream out loud. Can't you get over? Can't you get over? Can't you get over yourself? Conformity is how you pay your dues. When you give up yourself, what have you got to lose? Can't you get over? is how you sleep at night. Well, I didn't consent to this. Let's all rise up and fight. Can't you get over? Can't you get over? Can't you get over yourself? Time to get off of your high horse and take a ride with me. You think that you can control us, but you just wait and see. You say we just have to shut up, listen and obey. Well, baby, it's time to wake up. We're tired of your games. Just wait and see. You think we just have to shut up, listen and obey. Well, baby, it's time to wake up. We're tired of your game. We're tired of your game.
So you listen to games. Go and listen to Trash Oyster on all the streaming platforms.
Aw.
Listen to the rest of their songs
Thank
because
you.
totally worth listening to. So now that we're back and we've chatted for a while, I want to know what's next for you. What should everyone be looking out for, not just from Trash Oyster, but just in general, whatever you want to share with us that people could either where they could find you, shows coming up, whatever you want to share.
Yo, like, so fun fact, I do drag too, which is
There
a lot
you
of
go.
fun. So
Yeah.
I'm a drag king. We're called Nerdy Ness, like
Ness.
Nintendo Entertainment System Nerdy Ness.
Yeah.
Like, I do a lot of like, just, I try to, whenever I do host shows, I always try to get all like the misfit performers, the ones you don't always get like asked to be in shows.
I love that, yeah.
So like everybody in my
Yeah.
shows are just like, I'm just like, all right, let's go, let's get all the misfits, let's do all like I do rock shows, I do grunge shows, I do emo shows, like
Yeah.
just like the shows that it's all not all pop music, you know.
Yeah.
At the market, I played the Garrison Night Market last year, had a great experience, and they asked me to come back this year, and then they're
Awesome.
like, oh, like, do you want to do Pride Week, because like we know that you're like you're pan and you're gender fluid, and I'm like, yeah, no, like I fit the bill, let's do it.
I think that's awesome that you're a big supporter of that. And
Yeah. Well, hosting karaoke at Monarch too is like, so I host karaoke at Monarch every Thursday night, unless I'm sick or something or away. So like, you can come visit me and
It's a good time.
come sing karaoke. Oh yeah, Joel's been there.
Yeah.
We've had some good times.
I love karaoke.
It's
yeah.
so much fun, and like you can just sing whatever you want, and it's great.
Yeah.
And so like, and that's kind of where like my tie-in with the community is that like I've made so many of my friends, and like it's amazing, and like the space that Monarch has entrenched. I don't know if that's the right word, but like has provided
Yeah.
I'm
for us.
I'm trying now to think of
I'm trying to think of a better word
How
than
they've-
entrenched,
they've-
but like
It's the end of the interview. We're all forgetting how to
words.
speak.
Rip, rip,
Words.
rip, rip, rip,
Yeah.
rip.
Yeah.
But yes, anyways.
CHSR will love that one. Talk words, Joel.
We
Sorry.
love you, CHSR.
Yeah.
Actually, no, like legit, like CHSR did like a little baby interview with Tim Scammell like a while ago, and then he played us on there, and I think there are a few pals who will play us on CHSR in Fredericton, and then we played in St. John because we did an interview with Jay from the Radical Fabulatorium,
Oh.
which was like super cool. It was like a podcast thing, and
Very
and I think that's what got us on the charts in St. John. But like,
Amazing.
and we did an interview with something.
Gotta check
in
that out.
Moncton,
That's an
too.
amazing show name too.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's super cool show. It's fun. I'll quickly wrap up. And then, so Joel Strauss is our current drummer right now because Kelly is out with a back issue, but she'll be back. And as soon as her back's better, she's coming back into the band. And like Joel's super amazing for like filling in. And so he and I have talked a lot musically, and like, yeah. And then I met Zach Ingles through him, and the three of us are doing a show together at Sussex Ale Works on August 3rd. And that starts at 7. And then our next gig, our last gig that we've got booked right now is Trash Oyster has a gig during Harvest Week at Monarch Nightclub
Awesome.
on September the
on.
12th. And I think it's probably going to start at 10.
Okay.
For Harvest Week.
Right
And
on.
like, so those are all the gigs we got planned. So like we've got 5 gigs in the next couple of months. And like, I don't think we really have anything as a band for August yet.
Yeah.
Hit us up if you want us to
Yeah,
play for
absolutely.
you in August.
At this rate, you're not going to have any trouble getting shows, I think, for August. So,
Oh, I
yeah.
love it. The summer shows, a rock band in the
It's the
summer.
best. It's the
Put us
best.
on a patio. Let's have some fun.
Outside, I know.
Let's
right?
go. But
So is there if people want to just stay up to date with you guys, what's the best way to do that? Would it be Facebook? Do you have a website?
As I'm 33, Facebook is my best platform.
Yeah, I hear that.
So you can check our Facebook page, Trash Oyster Band, I think, or just look up Trash. It'll
Yeah.
probably come up. And then I also post at the same time, usually on Instagram as well. And we're Trash Oyster Band on Instagram.
Great.
And so I post to both when we have upcoming shows. I do a lot of like stories and stuff on Instagram, and it's a lot of fun. I'm not into Reels yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. I'm gradually getting into technology. But yes, Facebook and Insta.
Okay.
And that's where you can find us. And you can also email us at trashoysterband@gmail.com.
Perfect.
If you
So I was
want
just
to
gonna
like
ask
email
that,
for
yeah.
booking or anything like that, email that. Or just message any of the pages because I do all of the things.
Admin.
Awesome.
I'm a social media admin person. So
Yeah. The
We
many
got her.
hats, the many hats that you wear.
yeah. It's fun though.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's fun. But
Well, you seem to really enjoy all of it, so.
oh man, like there's nothing like I just love playing shows. It's so fun.
It is.
I really look forward to doing shows. It's a blast. We have a great time. Like doesn't matter. And like you meet so many cool bands, and it's the best thing in the world.
really
Just
is.
being on stage and rocking out with your pals. It's
Being around like-minded people, meeting more like-minded people through
Right?
It's kind of uplifting. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I
it
find
is.
I could be having a really bad day or week, and then I play a show or something. I'm like, oh, it's good to be around other people that feel the same things and want to do the same things.
and you don't have to
Yeah.
drink to have fun at a show. You can come get a pop and like
I'm
rock it
working on-
out with
I'm
your
working on
sugars
that.
and
Yeah.
like do it out, shake your sugars out. It's all
Yeah.
good. Like we don't discriminate. We
Yeah.
want to have fun with everybody.
Yeah.
It's good.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was great. We really appreciate you coming in. It was awesome to talk to you,
Oh, my
Kelsey.
pleasure. Thanks
Learn
for
more
having
about
me.
what you're doing. Oh my goodness, our pleasure.
Yes.
So we are Show Us Your Insides, where we just talk to artists,
Insides.
musicians. Yeah. What do you got on the inside? What
Yeah.
makes you tick? What
Thank you.
kind
You
of-
showed us a lot of your insides today. We appreciate it.
I hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I feel like
Um,
we got down to learning more about you and why you do what you do, and I love it. I love it. You have great reasons why you do what you do. Grunge seems like the perfect
it's great.
thing that you
Grunge
can
is
get
back,
out your-
baby.
Let's
Grunge is back.
go. Bring all your rip tees and jeans
There you
and
go.
fishnets. Let's rock it.
So is there any, like, we're kind of wrapping up. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we call her quits, or?
Just like talk to your music pals. If you're in a band, collaborate with other people. If you've never played at other venues, approach them. Don't be afraid to talk to people,
Yeah.
because the more that you talk to people, the more connections you make with other musicians and other if you're looking to get into bands, like the more you talk to people about it, the more help you're gonna get. So don't think that you're alone. Like when you're first starting out, it's super scary and tough, but just make those connections and don't be afraid to like get yourself out there, because the more you talk to people, the more like awesome communication and awesome connections you make. And
Totally.
music is a community. It's not meant for just like one person. It's like, so anyways,
Great
I made
advice.
some of my best friends through music, and like that's where it's at.
Same here. And
Like-
later in life as well, too.
Yeah.
I didn't meet Joel till a couple years ago. And
Yeah.
I can't imagine not knowing him now. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave you with the warm fuzzies. Hopefully
Warm
you've got
fuzzies.
some, and hopefully you get some. Maybe I don't know I was going to try to think of a word with fuzzies to describe grunge. Go get a little more aggressive fuzzies and go listen to Trash
Some
Oyster.
your
dust
fuzz
bunnies.
pedal out.
Dust
Yeah.
bunnies.
Fuzz
Get
pedal.
it with fuzz. That's right. Get the fuzz puzzles out. Puzzles.
Puzzles.
Those would be fun too.
Fuzz
Whatever.
puzzle? Oh, puzzles with fuzzy tops. There we go.
I
my
can't
God.
words.
Carpet. Puzzle carpet.
Stay tuned because we're going to be selling those as merch soon.
Show us
Puzzle
your
carpet.
insides. Puzzle carpets coming soon.
Thanks for
See you
having
on the
me.
next
Love
one.
you all.
Thanks
Goodbye,
for being here,
everybody.
Kelsey.
See ya.
I don't know what this is. The two-winger wave I'm doing. What is this two-winger I just said?
Two winger.
Yeah, I've already cut. This is getting cut.